If you've been consuming baking soda to correct acid reflux symptoms or for any other purpose, you may have heard that that might not be the ideal solution from some other folks, but in this video I'm going to help you understand why some of those issues can create big problems down the line and some other issues that you may not have heard that might just freak you out a little bit. Here we go.
TC Hale is not a doctor and does not claim to be a doctor or licensed in any type of medical field. Don't be an idiot and use anything heard on the show as medical advice. This information should be used for educational purposes only, and you should contact your doctor for any medical advice. Now get off me.
So baking soda is really just sodium bicarbonate, and it's a natural substance. So a lot of people might hear, oh, well, I'm having these reflux symptoms. I have this acid that's coming back up. It's burning me. It's creating a lot of trouble. I hear that can be very harmful. But I also hear that these antacids and acid reflux medications can lead to issues like osteoporosis and other problems. So I don't want to do that, so I'm going to use this natural substance. And the reason that this helps is because sodium bicarbonate is an alkaline substance that will neutralize the acids in here. So when this comes in and neutralizes the acids in your stomach, now these acids don't come back up and burn us, and it can really create some relief for those symptoms. But what we need to understand is that the reason that reflux is happening in the first place is not because someone has too much stomach acid like advertisers like us to believe. In most cases, it's because there's not enough stomach acid in there. So right here, this LES, that's a lower esophageal sphincter. And this little valve at the bottom of your esophagus that opens so food can come in. And then when the food acidifies, that valve closes so that this food doesn't come back up and burn us. The problem is that this LES valve is triggered by stomach acid. So if someone's making just a little bit of stomach acid, but they're not making enough to trigger that valve, now the small amount of acid that is being produced is coming back up and burning them. And there's a wide variety of reasons that a person might not be making enough stomach acid, and this is actually very common. But when it's coming back up, it's because there's not enough acid in there to trigger that valve, and now we get burned. So the problem with using something like baking soda to neutralize those acids and remove that symptom is that the stomach acid is there for a reason. It's not an accident. Mother Nature didn't go, oh, I shouldn't have done that part. There's a reason that we make stomach acid. And we need that acid to break down proteins into amino acids so that the body has the building blocks to rebuild the body. So this inability to properly break down protein can lead to significant problems, and when you turn off the stomach acid, you're turning off the ability to break those proteins down. We're also restricting the ability to assimilate minerals from the food that we're eating. We need to break those foods down to access the minerals and other nutrients that are in those foods. That's not a good idea. We know that nutrient deficiencies can lead to a lot of health issues. But here's the really big problem that a lot of people don't realize. That stomach acid is also the barrier to the whole body. And when these varmints come in on the food that we're eating, and they're coming in on the food that we're eating, we get bacteria and all these other things that come in on the food that we're eating, and that stomach acid is there to fry them. They die in an acid bath when that stomach acid burns them all up. So when we're taking baking soda to turn that acid off and neutralize that stomach area, the bad guys come in and like, oh, this is nice. Let's set up camp here. Let's have a keg party. Let's raise our kids. And they start to multiply, and then they start to move down here, and now we have small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, or SIBO, as all the cool kids call it. So it can create a lot of trouble when you're not closing the front door. So this leaves the door open for bad guys to come in and create a lot of trouble. Another thing to consider is that this gallbladder stores what's called bile. It's an alkaline substance that's made by the liver. And then when this acidic product leaves the stomach and goes into the small intestine, that first part called the duodenum, then that triggers the gallbladder to squirt this alkaline bile down to help neutralize those acids. And then the pancreas squirts some bicarb out there. So the bicarb is kind of another alkaline substance, helps us neutralize those acids. So it's not that the bicarbonate is bad, it's that it's going in the wrong place. That should never go into the stomach. The pancreas would never squirt bicarb right into the stomach and turn off stomach acid. That's not how the body's made to work. But when these acids leave the stomach, then it's time for them to be neutralized so they don't cause trouble down here. So the bile comes down to neutralize those acids, and so does the bicarb. So here's a problem. When someone is not making enough stomach acid and they're not acidifying that food correctly, then there is no signal for the gallbladder to squirt that bile down. And the gallbladder's job is to concentrate our bile. So if the bile is not squirting down, it just stays in the gallbladder and continues to be concentrated until it concentrates into sludge or into stones. And here's a hint. You don't want gallstones. You don't want a gallbladder attack. It's not a great time. So this is something that we need to think about when we're taking steps to turn off our stomach acid. Now, another thing we have to consider is that this reflux coming back up is damaging those tissues. That can create significant problems. So we don't want to just ignore it either, but maybe there are other options that people can kind of look into. But let's look at another really big issue that using baking soda can create. So what we're doing when we're using baking soda is we're putting an alkaline substance into the body. And there's a lot of pH gurus out there that think that, oh, we really need to alkalize the body. We're all too acidic. If you don't alkalize, you're going to be dead by Thursday. And these pH guru idiots are causing a lot of trouble for a lot of people because we're really looking at the bloodstream when we're looking at a body that might be leaning too far on that acidic side, because there are different compartments in the body that should be different pHs. The blood has a very narrow pH that it has to stay within. The stomach should be acidic. There's other tissues and other fluids that should have a variety of pHs for the body to work optimally. We don't really want to alkalize the whole body. So these pH gurus tell people to take this baking soda, which can help to alkalize the blood. And if someone's blood is leaning too far on that acidic side, then pushing it more alkaline can really improve a lot of symptoms. Here's the problem. A lot of people have their blood already leaning too far on the alkaline side. So they're going to take this baking soda and magnify an imbalance that's already going on. So what we need to understand is that when you magnify an alkaline imbalance in the bloodstream, what's called the Bohr effect kicks in. And what the Bohr effect tells us is that when the blood leans too far on that alkaline side, oxygen can't get down to the tissues where it needs to be utilized correctly. So pushing the blood too alkaline creates oxygen utilization issues. And you kind of want to know that the body needs oxygen. So we really don't want to make it where the body has oxygen utilization issues. That can create some significant health issues. So I'm not a doctor. I'm not giving you medical advice here. If your doctor told you to take baking soda, then you should take baking soda. Don't listen to me. But it's nice to know some of the effects that it can create immediately and in the long term so that you can understand, maybe I want to look for other solutions. Maybe I want to fix the actual underlying cause of the problem. And I can't tell you not to take baking soda, but if you've been taking it, you might want to test out just setting it in your trash can and just see what it looks like there. If it looks okay in your trash can, maybe you leave it in your trash can. But what we like to see people do is fix the actual underlying cause of the problem instead of just covering up a symptom. And yes, there are health issues that can come from a body leaning too far on the acid side at the blood level, but there's other solutions that a person can take to correct those issues. And if someone's having acid reflux problems, then we like to see people fix the actual underlying cause, which is often either a lack of stomach acid and an inability to trigger that valve to close. Maybe somebody has a bacterial overgrowth and the waste from that bacteria is alkalizing the stomach and neutralizing those acids. Maybe somebody has a hiatal hernia. Maybe it's restricting the ability for that valve to close correctly. And we'll put a link in the description below for our video on understanding hiatal hernias if you think that might be a problem for you and you can dig deeper into that. But if someone can take steps to fix the actual cause of the problem, to fix that reflux, then they don't need to use something that's going to create a lot of trouble down the line. So what you can do right now is jump over and check out our video on why do I have acid reflux, and that goes into some more issues that might have the ability to create this reflux problem and help you understand how to correct the underlying cause. I can't wait to hear about your results.